Is this real life? Not only me making a video on this channel, but also Mets sweep, baby. The Arizona Diamondbacks. We're not to say a score. I'm sorry for the lack of uploading. I will be explaining that quickly before we get into the video. If you don't care, just keep tapping your phone or scroll past on your computer. Keep going ahead. But I just want to quickly say I apologize for the lack of uploads over the past few days. First of all, I will be continuing to do individual game recaps. I won't do a series recap. It's just hard not to when they freaking got a sweep for the first time in what feels like decades. But I have to do it this way for this series. I promise to get back to the individual videos. How often will the individual videos be? Not too sure. I'm going to try my best to recap as many games as possible, even if I can't watch them. I'm going to try my best, but I just have been super busy ever since the Astro series. I ended up going on vacation right after or right in the middle of that Astro series, missed a good chunk of the Philly series, then missed the last game of that series because I had something family related. And then the NHL has just been such a log jam for me because I have my main channel. If you guys aren't sub there and you guys are hockey fans, go sub to my main channel, Core Python. But I've been clogged up so much with my schedule lately, and it's just been way too chaotic and way too hard to cover this team. Now, though, I have time to cover this team again. And oh my God, do I want to cover this team if they're going to keep playing baseball like this? Because this is the team that we've been waiting for. And this is what we've thought we were getting going into the season. Granted, there were some things to not like about this series. There was definitely a concern with how late they came back in game 2 of this series. There was a concern of the 9th inning in this series. But I just absolutely, there are things to love, obviously. Francisco Lindor swinging the bat. You have Francisco Alvarez. I mean, my God, are we going to rave about him in this video? Buck Showalter using his noggin a bit to manage throughout this series as well. I absolutely love it. And this is some good baseball for once. And even when they were sweeping the Guardians, beating the Rays, yes, I was pumped and I was happy, but I wasn't as optimistic about them being able to turn the page on the season because there were some flaws with those series. Granted, there is flaws with this series, but there's something different about this series, the vibe of this and the Giants series. It just looks like the team is actually enjoying themselves again. I mean, you're getting Mark Canha showing emotion. He legs out a triple and he's looking at the dugout yelling, "Let's go!" Like, come on. This is just the emotion, the vibe, everything that has been missing from the season. And I have more confidence now than I did with that series against the Guardians and Rays. After those series, wasn't feeling as confident. This series, these two are making me feel more confident that they could turn the page. Am I claiming that they're back? Am I claiming that I believe? Not just yet, because I'm not being fooled. I've been down this road before where they sucker me in. 2019 in particular that I'm referencing here. They suckered me in. They got me to believe, only to fall short of the playoffs. I am not there yet because of the fact that I've learned my lesson with this team, but I am feeling better today than I did a week ago even, because the calendar flipped July and all of a sudden this team turned a switch in their heads. And listen, I'm here for it if they find a way to make the playoffs, because if they do make the playoffs, they could potentially make some noise. And we've had the conversation time and time again ad nauseum that, hey, all it takes is getting in and getting hot at the right time. Let's see what can happen. It's a tough uphill battle to climb, but the good news is that they cleared most of, I kind of wanted to do this at the end of the video and recap the games, but I'm going to do it now. They kind of cleared the path ahead of them a good amount, passing a lot of teams, because they were behind the Pirates, they were behind the Cubs, behind the Padres. They passed all 3 of those teams. Granted, they're in a tie with the Padres, who they are playing, so this is a pivotal, if I could talk, pivotal series coming up starting tonight. But I will say that this, if they're going to play baseball like this, I mean, there's definitely a lot of positives. And the Padres, they're on a little bit of a heater. They're on a 3-game win streak, so somebody's snapping their win streak tonight. But 6.5 back of the wild card. The Brewers are 47-41. That's another thing, too. I'm not fully convinced until the Mets are above 500, because look at that uphill battle in itself to climb to get ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers or to even get in a tie with them. So there is a lot of baseball to be played. It would have just been easier if they played this baseball against the Brewers, and maybe we'd be close. But regardless, this is definitely it's definitely going to be a tough hill to climb, like I keep saying, but especially with the way the Phillies are playing, the Dodgers are a wild card team. I mean, good luck catching up to the Dodgers, who somehow are behind the Marlins in the standings, which is odd, and the Marlins playing good baseball this season is odd in itself, but sure, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough, but I will say that it could happen. They got the run differential up to above out of the negatives. The Brewers are in the negatives, which is just odd, and the Marlins too. I mean, the Marlins are just, I don't know how they have the record they do. I'll say that, especially with the way the Mets smacked them up at the beginning of the year. That shocks me. But let's talk about this game or the games, I should say. Before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. Let's talk about this for game one. First inning, not much happening for the Mets side of things, but in the bottom of the first, Corbin Carroll would hit a home run to make it a 1-0 ball game. In the second inning, not much happened on either side of things. You had a 1-2-3 inning, and then the only hit in that second inning was a Starling Marte double. Outside of that, not much happening. Third inning, nothing happening at all. Brett Baty single, but Nimmo hit into a double play, and then a 1-2-3 inning for Scherzer yet again. Top of the fourth, Mets actually get some things going as Francisco Lindor would walk after a Tommy Pham ground out. Pete Alonso would strike out, but the Mets doing some work with 2 outs, which the two out magic. It's back. It's back with this team, something that was missing. But Jeff McNeil gets a single, and then Starling Marte hits himself a home run in his old grounds to make it a 3-1 ball game. So all of a sudden, the Mets have life. The Mets are winning, and then Daniel Vogelbach grounds out. Bottom of the fourth, Jake McCarthy with a strikeout. Corbin Carroll grounds out, and then Scherzer couldn't let us have the lead for too long, as he allows a home run to Christian Walker, and then Lourdes Gurriel hits a home run back-to-back. 3-3 ball game. He gets out of the inning, though, without allowing any more runs. But the Mets do respond in the fifth as, again, 2-out magic. Alvarez strikes out. Baty grounds out. But Brandon Nimmo hits himself a home run to make it a 4-3 ball game. Brandon Nimmo, how about him? He wasn't swinging the bat spectacularly in the series, but I will say he is hitting for more power this year, which is definitely refreshing. And listen, is it maybe at the sacrifice of putting up a better batting average? I wouldn't say so. I mean, 272 on the year, a 368 OBP, 821 OPS is no slouch. So I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for Brandon Nimmo hitting for power. I got a little sidetracked. Tommy Pham strikes out. That ends the inning. Bottom of the fifth, not much really. I mean, actually, that's a lie. There is 2 easy outs, and then things happen. Alek Thomas with a single. He ends up stealing. Perdomo with a walk. McCarthy with a single. And then Corbin Carroll walks to make it a 4-4 ball game. And then Christian Walker with ends up striking out. I do want to get something pulled up at the same time as I'm talking here. Top of the 6th, not much happening as it's a 1-2-3 inning, and Kyle Nelson ended up coming in for Zach Davies, and then Scherzer gets a 1-2-3 inning. Miguel Castro comes in, former Met, and he does not do great as Marte flies out, but Vogelbach with a walk. DJ Stewart comes in the pitch run, and then Francisco Alvarez hits a home run, and just watching him trot the bases is so entertaining. Nonetheless, the home run, it wasn't as hype, I'll say, as the one in game 2, but Francisco Alvarez, the hype that he's showing. Brett Baty then strikes out. Nimmo with a walk. Pham flies out. We go to the bottom of the 7th as Brooks Raley comes into the game, walks Nick Ahmed. Kyle Lewis comes up the pitch hit. He strikes out. Perdomo flies out. Evan Longoria comes in the pitch hit. He walks, and then they go to a pitch runner in Dominic Fletcher, and then Corbin Carroll grounds out. So a little bit of a stressful inning for Brooks Raley, but he ends up getting out of it And then we go to the top of the 8th. Austin Adams comes in the pitch. He hits Francisco Lindor, strikes out Alonso, walks McNeil, and then Francisco Lindor with a stolen bag. Marte walked, and then Jose Ruiz comes in the pitch, and DJ Stewart. How about that with a little bit of a sacrifice fly? Who thought DJ Stewart, who I prefer here over Danny Mendick, by the way, easily. Marte ends up stealing a base, but Alvarez would strike out to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Adam Ottavino has a fairly easy inning. I mean, he had a wild pitch, allowed a single, but outside of that, not too much crazy. And then the 9th inning, Brett Baty with a single, Brandon Nimmo with a line out, and then Ruiz throws a wild pitch. Baty is able to advance on that. Pham grounds out, but Francisco Lindor ropes a double, and he makes it an 8-4 ball game. Alonso then grounds out. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Guillorme comes in for defense, and then Drew Smith comes in the pitch, and he makes it so stressful because, of course, and Nick Ahmed gets a single. Kyle Lewis flies out. Perdomo lines out, and then, you had a defensive indifference, which advanced Ahmed. Fletcher walks, and then David Robertson had to come in. He allows a single to Corbin Carroll, walks in a run in Christian Walker, and then, thankfully, he ends up getting the line out to make it that made it a 8-5 ball game. Or no, that didn't make it an 8-5 ball game. That ended the ball game. So I meant to say, I cannot talk. But the Mets win 8-5 that game. 8 hits for each side, no errors on each side. Scherzer with the win, Castro with the lose, and then David Robertson with the save. Listen, this game definitely got shaky towards the end. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but I will absolutely take the win, and it's not the worst win imaginable. Game 2 was definitely a little more alarming considering the fact that the offensive production was not really there as much, but I will say this was a comforting win. The only thing not comforting is Max Scherzer, and definitely scary how much hard hits he was allowing. He was allowing a lot of hard contact in this outing, but thankfully, he ends up giving enough for the Mets. I mean, 4 earned runs. You'd like it to be less. 9 strikeouts is good. But the bullpen definitely did their job. Or to an extent did their job. I shouldn't say they did their job. Brooks Raley got into some trouble. Ottavino did his job. Drew Smith did not. And then Robertson almost failed to do his job, but he got the save, so he sort of did his job. But for the lineup, Brett Baty and Francisco Alvarez, definitely some good things from them. Definitely some good things. Alvarez 1 for 4, but he, of course, ends up hitting that big home run. Brett Baty 2 for 4. Great day for him. Tommy Pham didn't swing the bat as well in the series, which we'll talk more about, but still a lot of good things to like with the lineup. Of course, Marte going 2 for 3, which it would be nice if he could swing the bat well, of course. Alonso 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Yikes. But for the most part, you got good production from the lineup. And I'm here for it. Would have liked maybe more than 8 hits, but regardless, I'm not going to complain. I can't nitpick considering how they didn't really do great offensively in game 2, which we will talk about next. That was out of order for some reason, and that almost threw me off. Good thing I caught that to switch the graphic. But regardless, let's talk about game 2 as top of the first 1-2-3 inning. By the way, on the bump for the Diamondbacks was Henry. So let's talk about the game now. And then bottom of the first, Senga allows a single to Perdomo, lines out Longoria, and then Carroll with a single, but Christian Walker hits into a double play. Top of the second, Alonso grounds out, Marte with a single, and then a double play gets challenged, but it stands as a double play. And then bottom of the second, 1-2-3 inning. Top of the third, pretty much a 1-2-3 inning. I mean, Canna walks, but Senga gets a 1-2-3 inning. Top of the fourth, a single for Tommy Pham. Lindor grounds out. Alonso pops out. Tommy Henry ends up, or I should say the Diamondbacks essentially walk Starling Marte, and then you get yourself a little double steal action. How about that? Tommy Pham and Starling Marte with the double stolen bases, only for Jeff McNeil to ground out, which Jeff McNeil has definitely been frustrating this year, and it's sad to watch because I freaking love Jeff McNeil, but he's not been good enough this year. There's no two ways around it. Anyway, bottom of the fourth, Longoria strikes out. Carroll strikes out. Walker ends up walking, steals a base, but Gurriel strikes out. We go to the top of the fifth. Alvarez pops out. Beatty and Canna with walks, and then Nimmo with the pop out, and then Tommy Pham lines out. Bottom of the fifth, Jake McCarthy with a single, steals a base, but then two strikeouts for Senga, and then a flyout from Alek Thomas to end the inning. Mets go down in order in the top of the sixth, but so with the Diamondbacks in the bottom as two strikeouts again for Senga, who has just been great. Kyle Nelson comes in the pitch for the Diamondbacks, strikes out Jeff McNeil, allows a single to Francisco Alvarez, strikes out Brett Beatty. Then they go to Scott Magoo, sure, I don't know. Strikes out Mark Canha, and then bottom of the seventh, Christian Walker, who just torched the Mets this series, gets a home run to make it a 1-0 ball game, and yeah, definitely was worrisome. And then Senga gets out of further trouble as he gets Gurriel to ground out, gets two strikeouts from McCarthy and Kelly, and then top of the eighth, Nimmo grounds out, Pham with a walk, and then back-to-back outs from Lindor and Alonso. Marte comes to pitch, hit, Ketel Marte, that is, grounds out. Alek Thomas lines out, Perdomo pops out. So, yeah, I mean, Senga gives you 8. Senga gives you 8. You needed the score. And Chafin comes in the pitch, the guy that I wanted the Mets to sign so many times, but thankfully, Marte grounds out, not thankfully. McNeil flies out, not thankfully, but thankfully, down to the final strike. I tweet that the Mets are not Barack, but Francisco Alvarez with 1 out and 1 strike to go. The Mets down to their final strike. He hits a home run. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And Francisco Alvarez makes it a 1-1 game. He's turning around, facing the dugout, getting all pumped up. I freaking love it. I freaking love it. Francisco Alvarez. This man's just done miracles on me. Brett Beatty with a single, and then Mark Canha drives him in on a triple. Like I said, he likes that triple. He's showing emotion. Let's go. He's yelling it to the dugout. Freaking love the emotion that the team is showing now too. It's something that good baseball teams do. They play with swagger and emotion, and they're showing that. Brandon Nimmo then walks, and then Kevin Ginkel came in the pitch, and he gets Tommy Pham the ground out. David Robertson comes in again. He gets a 1-2-3 inning. Thankfully, didn't make it stressful. That is your ball game. Mets win it 2-1. 6 hits for the Mets, 4 for the Diamondbacks. The winning pitcher is Kodai Senga. Rightfully so, considering the fact that he freaking dealed. And then Chafin with the loss. Robertson with another save, as that would not be the last. Or no, that was the last save. But I love the managing there. I love that he wasn't scared to use Robertson yet again. I freaking love the managing decision. And if I'm not mistaken, he was used. Let me actually see before I sound like an idiot. I know there was an off day, but was he used in that last game against the Giants? I believe he was. So to use him 3 games in a row is definitely something. Yeah, he was. So I'm not going crazy. I'm not mistaken. Wins have just been making me go all over the place here, which I'm here for. But Senga, 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk allowed. Yeah. Yes. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. And then Robertson with a strikeout in his inning of work. Love it. The lineup didn't love outside of Francisco Alvarez. I mean, Pham got a hit. Beatty got a hit. Canha with a hit. But too many 0-4s. Too many 0-4s. But I don't care. I don't care enough because they still managed to pull out the win for Kodai Senga. Almost gave him the DeGrom treatment. But the last game, if there was any doubts about the offense from game 2, oh boy, did they erase them. And can you believe this? Can you believe that the Mets got 8 innings from their starting pitcher in back-to-back games? It's a Christmas miracle, isn't it? In July. Anyway, Nelson on the mound for the Diamondbacks, and he freaking got into trouble real quick as he gets the first 2 outs. But again, the Mets scoring runs with 2 outs as Lindor legs out a triple. And then Peter Morgan Alonso makes it a 2-0 ball game. Vogelback would strike out, and that is the end of the inning. But the Mets with some first inning runs, can you believe it? Perdomo with a walk. Marte ends up popping out. Carroll with a fly out, and then a pickoff move at first ends up getting the out. So top of the second, Marte with a single. McNeil and Alvarez back-to-back force outs. Guillorme with a single, but Nimmo would fly out. Bottom of the second, Diamondbacks go down in order. Top of the third, Pham with a ground out. Lindor with another triple. He could have got the cycle in this game, which we'll talk about, but he gets himself another triple, and then Pete Alonso drives him in with a single. Vogelback would drive in Alonso with a double to make it a 4-0 ball game. Marte flies out, but McNeil would get a double, who I was just getting on. Granted, McNeil didn't necessarily swing the bat great in this game, but he gets himself an RBI double to make it 5-0. And then Francisco Alvarez yet again with another home run. You gotta just love what he's doing. Freaking another home run, 7-0. The emotion in the dugout, he's jumping, and the emotion he plays with, I freaking love it. And he's changed it. And how about anyone and everyone that was doubting the clubhouse after Escobar got traded, being like, oh, the clubhouse is going to fall apart more? They would have had more concerns if one player impacted the clubhouse that much. Because I'm telling you right now, this 21-year-old kid ain't showing, ain't letting that clubhouse get dragged down. Okay? Guillorme flies out. Bottom of the third, Fletcher grounds out. Moreno flies out. Thomas with a double. Perdomo grounds out. And then that would be all for Nelson, as he is replaced by Jameson. And he allows 2 singles to Pham and Lindor, but Nimmo with a fly out leading off the inning. And then Alonso hit into a double play. Bottom of the fourth, the Diamondbacks go down in order. Top of the fifth, Vogelback with a single. Marte with a strikeout. McNeil with a walk. Alvarez with a single to make it 8-0, which again, he is just killing it. And then Guillorme hits into a double play. Bottom of the fifth, yet again, the Diamondbacks go down in order. Top of the sixth, Nimmo and Pham end up flying out, but Lindor with a home run to make it 9-0. Francisco Lindor just kept getting on base, kept getting hits. And Alonso then gets hit by a pitch. Vogelback with a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the sixth, where the Diamondbacks go down in order. Jose Ruiz comes in the pitch, allows a single to Marte. Marte ends up stealing a base. McNeil with a walk. Alvarez gets hit by a pitch. And then, unfortunately, Guillorme, Nimmo, and Pham would all strike out in order. So the Mets couldn't pile on even more on a big enough lead. Marte ends up getting a single. Kyle Lewis pitched hit for Corbin Carroll. That was because of the fact that Corbin Carroll ended up getting hurt, which hopefully he'll be okay. I feel bad for the guy. A guy that's not just only competing for Rookie of the Year, but arguably MVP even, and it's probably a big reason why the Diamondbacks have the record that they do and are first in the NL West. So hopefully he'll be okay. Kyle Lewis flies out, and then Walker hits into a double play. We go to the top of the eighth. Lindor with a single, yet again a hit, which you just got to laugh that he's just punching the Diamondbacks around. And then, unfortunately, the Mets go down in order the rest of the way. Bottom of the eighth, Carrasco still out there, gets a ground out from Gurriel, strikes out Rivera, allows a single to Fletcher, gets Moreno to ground out. That is the end of the inning. And Carson Kelly came in the pitch, and he was probably the Diamondbacks' best pitcher of this game, as he gets McNeil to ground out. Narvaez pitched hit for Alvarez, because you might as well just get Alvarez off his feet after playing 3 games in a row. He lines out Guillorme with a single. Stewart comes to pitch hit for Nimmo, get Nimmo off his feet too. He walks, and then Pham pops out. So again, probably the best pitcher. And then Trevor Gott, newly acquired pitcher, which, sorry I didn't make a video on the trade. I mean, it's not a big deal of that trade anyway. But Thomas flies out, Perdomo flies out, Ahmed with a single, and then Kyle Lewis flies out. That is your ball game. Your winning pitcher is Carlos Carrasco. Your losing pitcher is, was it Ryan Nelson, right? Is it Ryan Nelson? Renee? Ryan? I don't know. But regardless, 17 hits for the Mets. So the Diamondbacks 4. No errors on each side. Wow. Carrasco, 8-inning ball. 3 hits and 1 walk, allowed 4 strikeouts. 4 strikeouts isn't sexy, but that no earned run ball in 8 innings from Carlos Carrasco. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Lindor 5 for 5. Pham, like I said, cooled off this series. 1 for 6. Still, Nimmo 0 for 5. A couple of cool bats in the series. Alonso was cool at the beginning, but he ends up going 2 for 4 in this game. Vogelback 2 for 5, which there's questions about him before the game hitting in the 5 hole. McNeil 2 for 5, or no, not McNeil, Marte 2 for 5. McNeil 1 for 3 with 2 walks, though. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. We will continue to discuss. There's a lot of good to discuss, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to get back to covering the games individually, like I said. So we'll try that. The All-Star break's coming up though after the series, so I'm sure a podcast episode will occur after that. And I think that this Padres series is really going to tell us what this Mets team is about and if they could really crawl out of this. If they go into San Diego and sweep them, I'm definitely, you're definitely getting me to say the words, we're back at that point. You're definitely getting me there, but we'll see. We'll see. That's going to be all for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Let's go, Mets.